Thank you for making it out to join us today. The goal for us today is to look at, we call ourselves citizens at Livespot 360, and that's how we are identified. We don't use the word staff, we use citizens, and it's easy because we see ourselves as a nation, and then we have our states. Our states are our offerings, and a nation that has a state will have citizens, and then we call ourselves citizens. And just so I probably might mention citizens in the process of this conversation, so you understand. That's why I'm just putting that out there. So the people sitting here today, we have a mix of those that have spent 4 years and above, and those that are new, and the experience with those that have stayed with us for quite a number of time. You would hear from them. You would see what if there is any difference or any major change about the conversation. Just going straight, I would like to throw my first question to our managing director, Tiwa. She likes being addressed by her first name, so please, I'll just address her by that. Tiwa, if you don't mind, please, my first question go to you. I would like to say, what has been the transition period from when you joined over 4 years ago till date? What would you say has been the transition period for us as a company?
For me, and I've been in Livespot a little over 4 years, I like to say that the things that made me join hold true till date. Because I believe as an individual that we all have choices, particularly when it comes to our careers and what have you. At the time that I was joining Livespot, it was post-COVID. COVID had just ended. I had met the founders of Livespot in a previous career, in a previous role, and the key drivers or the key sort of interest for me was the willingness and the desire to not only push boundaries in terms of the quality of work that the company does, but to also take a chance at things that have never been done before. And for me, finding Livespot, who was putting their money literally where their mouth is, it was refreshing for me. One of my first encounters was a presentation that Livespot had done, and we were reviewing it in my then office. And the comment in the room was, the one thing you can be sure of is the way they have drawn it on this paper. If you walk into the premises, that's exactly how it's going to be. And that's a third party saying that of Livespot. So that for me was one of the biggest convincing factors for joining Livespot. 4 years on, that hasn't changed. With all the work that Livespot does, it's still about pushing the boundaries, daring to do more, taking on challenges and continue to solve problems.
My next question will be to Efua. The amazing thing about, having Efua in this panel is the fact that last year, 2024, Efua was with us as a volunteer, and this year, she is working with us as a project coordinator. I think it's something we should celebrate her for. Now, my question to you, Efua, would be, looking back at last year and looking at where you sit this year, what would you say stood out, for you amongst other volunteers that made us pick you?
Hello, everybody. Happy to see you guys. Thanks for having me on the panel. To answer that question, I think what made me stand out was not an exceptional performance or anything like that, which of course, working at Livespot or even volunteering at Livespot, one of the volunteers was just telling me earlier that she's so tired, but she's having so much fun. Working at Livespot is a spiritual thing permit me to go a little spiritual. I had a desire to enter a place and do something exceptional. I wanted to shine. And I had that desire, and I think that was the spirit that maybe came out, not by my saying it or doing anything in particular, but I think that was the spirit that maybe Tiwa caught on to, because of course, I'm not, I have a lot of respect for Tiwa, because Tiwa is the reason, at the root of it, she's like the seed for why I'm here. Tiwa saw me and thought, she needs to work with D. She needs to work in the company. This volunteer, take her on. And that was, I think, that's the spirit that I think Tiwa saw. The spirit to excel, the spirit to do something, the spirit to shine. And I think working at Livespot as a citizen, you must shine. Everybody shines. Everybody is doing something, and they're doing it quite exceptionally. So, yeah, I think I had a
Thank you for that
citizen
response. There must
energy.
be a burning desire. I appreciate that. Thank you. Moving on to Aaron. The amazing part is Aaron is part of our, recent hire, and he came at a time where things were moving at a very fast pace. And surprising part is when he joined, it just, it sets the ground running. So, Aaron, my question to you is, I mean, after the interview, after the whole interview process, you joined the company. In fact, before your resumption date, you were invited for one of our events. How were you able, or how have you been able to survive, the pace you met on ground? I remember having a conversation with you one time, and you said this is quite a different pace from where I'm coming from. So, how have you been able to survive the pace?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Aaron, like you said. So, I won't lie. Coming to Live Sport was really different for me. I used to work for Itality Jersey, and working there, I won't call us laid back, but it was nowhere close to how functional we are at Live Sport right now. And I remember my first project was the rebrand for T2 Mobile. I was so confused because I was like, what are these guys doing? Like, meeting at 9 a.m., 9:30, 10, working on different things. And I was like, how will I balance everything? Because I'm used to like just working from my laptop, being chill and everything. But at live sports, you have to like just like stand up and like start working. And I would always say thank you to my coworkers, especially the design team. They are seated over there. Um, my coworkers really, really like they helped me a lot. For instance, Taiwo over there, he it taught me a lot. Even though I'm a designer, I know about design a lot, but I did not know light level of design. And he made sure to break everything down for me, and he still to this very day. And I am so grateful for my coworkers, my creative director. He's not here right now. His name is Olumide Musenj. It was so helpful to me coming into live sports. Same thing with my other coworkers, Michael. So one thing I'm going to always be grateful for is the citizens of live sports, the staff. They know how to make you feel at home, feel comfortable, even if you do not, even if you are scared, even if you are nervous, even if you're anxious, they will just make sure to like just make you feel calm, relax, and with that you're able to like work better and faster and much like creative. So yes, that's my.
Thank you. Thank you. Please celebrate Aaron. I think Aaron is just, speaking to one key part of our core values, which is the nurturing part. And that's, if there's one thing Life Sport is big on, it's, we take care of our own, and, you would never at any point in time feel separated or, lost. Back to you, Tiwa. My question is, even though we will come and speak of the beautiful things, I believe there have been trial times, there have been tough seasons. How have you been able to push through? What kept you going?
I always say that with most things, and I'm going to go to the why very quickly. If the reason that you chose that job still remains true, then leaving is not an option. Not excelling is not an option. Once you have that at the back of your mind, you just get on with it. Personally, there are a few things that have been the the biggest support for when we've had difficult times. Number one, not to echo Aaron too much, but the people at Livespot. I always say that that's the biggest asset. Even when it's one person dropping the ball, the average Livespot citizen doesn't let that ball touch the ground. Someone somewhere is going to see it falling and pick it up. And knowing that you work with such a team of not only talented, but passionate humans is comforting. Just knowing that your pressure is not yours alone, is a shared, there's something I always talk about, the shared human suffering, because we are all humans. There are some things we just go through. But with Livespot, you're not going through it alone. The pressure is not yours alone. And that, for me, is how each day, no matter what's going on, you get up and get on with it, right? Secondly, I always say that in 21st century, our work is still designed to take a lot from us. So I always say to people that you must identify the things that pour into you. Because as a human, if you don't have something pouring into you, you're going to deplete and deplete really fast. Spiritual health, very important to me. Mental health, physical health. Those are things that, for me, an employer cannot do that for you, right? As my father will say, I can do so much, but there's certain things that are up to you. Even when I interview people, I always say that, what do you do for your physical, your personal wellness? How are you taking care of the self in this? So for me, I'm invested in looking after myself. And so because I'm feeling spiritually full, emotionally well, physically well, for the most part as well, I have the energy, right? And that, for me, is, I like to think of myself as a realist. If you don't have the physical energy, you can't. So you must find a way to build up your own energy levels, right? No matter how much support you have, if physically you're unable to, right? So being able to do that. The third thing for me is prioritizing. There will always be pressure. And every time our VP experiences is here, Dalal, and I met Dalal in Livespot. I'm not the oldest citizen in Livespot. I met Dalal in Livespot. And I always say to Dalal that when we look at the plethora of things that need to get done, prioritizing is very important, to be able to say which one has to happen now and which one can wait. Of course, there's a science to it, which is, what are the stakes? If this doesn't happen now, then what? Do you understand? The ripple effects of those things, to consider all of those. What are the stakes in terms of the financial impact, relationship impact with clients and whatever, and being able to, map out how you're going to address all these things. All of them will get addressed, but because we are humans and we only have so much capacity, being able to prioritize, and I will use a common parlance, choose our battles. Like today, these are the battles I'm going to fight. There's the other battle, I'll step it down until tomorrow and, walk through it like that. Because if you don't do that, then you dive into anything. You don't make success of either of them, and you just run into trouble. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please celebrate your two things for me that I pick from what you said. One, you have to be deliberate and take care of your own personal life in terms of your mental, your physical, and your spiritual self. And two, you also, when it then comes to pressure, you also need to prioritize. So thank you so much for that. To Efua, just bringing it back to live sport culture, how would you say the experience has been in terms of how, live sport balance the Gen Zs, let me use the word Gen Zs, and the older generation as work, as far as work is concerned?
I don't think that balance is even. I understand the question, but I think that live sports is a place where it doesn't matter your age. That would sound cliche, and I promise it's not. But it doesn't matter your age. It's again the desire to excel. Are you good at what you say you're good at? That's the bottom line. If you're 16 and you are great at creative designing, you'll your age doesn't matter. I mean, no one's gonna give you alcohol and say, "Oh yeah, come to turn up Lagos," but you are good at what you're good at, and you're going to excel at live sports. One thing I was telling Dee, I've mentioned Dee a second time now, so I'll just tell everybody. Dee is my line manager. She's the one I work with directly, just very close to. So I was telling Dee just yesterday that at live sport, if you like to cut corners, live sport will magnify that to you. If you are hardworking, live sport will magnify that to you. If you don't like to collaborate with people, live sport will highlight that to you. Like if you are excellent at communicating, live sport will highlight that to you. And I think that's just exemplary of a good organization in general. I think a good nation, going back to who we are at the company, it wouldn't matter your age. It would just matter what you are competent at, and you'll thrive at that. So yeah, no, there's no balance or anything.
Can I lend my voice to that? It's interesting that in live sport, we're all first name basis, everyone at live sport. And you find that even with younger people, when they join, for a minute, because again, we live in Nigeria, right? And maybe culturally, they're usually used to holding back from people who are sort of slightly older. It may take some time, then you realize it's really a level playing field here. And I'm welcome. My opinion is welcome. My ideas are welcome. I say to people, that's why I recruited you. If you're holding back, then you're not serving you, you're not serving me either. It may take a while for people to realize that you don't need all that airs and graces, to function fully within life sport. But I think most people come to it. You find a few people that when they join, and I've been here 4 years, right? You find a few people that when they join, they're a bit timid and unsure whether to approach you or not, And then as we learn each other, you learn the organization, you learn the individuals. I think most people then discover, it's not, we're not an uptight organization, if I may use that term.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yes, sorry, just to illustrate what you just said, and I think that's so key how you put that, because it's a psyche, it's a mentality thing. We are Nigerians, so you feel, okay, this is my MD. Yes, ma, yes, sir, but it's like, anyway, at a meeting, there was a meeting that I was invited to. Of course, I'm not going to go into the details, but Tiwa's assistant, Mariam, reached out to me and was like, oh, you are invited to this meeting. And I was like, why am I in this meeting? I mean, I got it, I understood, but I'm like, Tiwa wants me in the meeting. Okay, cool, I'll join. I'm just going to be quiet in this meeting. And somewhere through the meeting, Tiwa was like, Efua, what do you think? And I'm like, yo. Thankfully, I had a thought. I had a thought, and I started to speak. And I was so surprised that, I mean, okay, not to say I was surprised, I guess maybe I was surprised, but I was taken aback by it. And I think that is the thing that's why I was taken aback. It's that psyche of, your voice does matter. We recruited you for a reason. You do have something to say, so offer it. So yeah, just
Thank
to
you.
corroborate that.
Thank you. Please celebrate them. Um, Aaron, I'm back to you. All right. And the beauty of Aaron is, when you hear him speak about work, before 5, 6 lines, it's always going back to his my team, my team, my team. So, I mean, that speaks more about how the team collaboration, right, is at Live Sports. But what I want to ask you now is, I mean, going beyond your team, what do you think the relationship is across board with other team members?
Um, I think the relationship between me and other team members, let's say events, operations, I'm really, I'm a very outdoor person. I know how to talk to people. I'm charismatic, I think, and working with other guys from other departments at Live Sport, other citizens, it's been really, really easy for me. Let's say like I'm working with events, and it's just we know how to like rapport because there's really nothing to hold back from. Working at Live Sports means everybody, even the smallest projects, everybody's hands on them. So I might work with you on this project, I might work with you on another project. We are we are citizens together. I would say we are friends sometimes because we do things. I have to check in on you. Are you good after this project? And honestly, working with my coworkers from other departments has been the best. Really, I work with event team a lot with guys from comms, Efua included. Sometimes we be like, "Why are you stressing me?" This and I'm like, "Okay, 10 minutes later, I hope you are good." It's just the best, really. And I know I love talking about my team this, my team that, but it's also between my team members to the same um, rapport I have with them. It's also the same I have with every other person in live sports. So yes, it's
Thank
perfect.
you. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes, Tiwa.
No, I want to share a story. So when I first joined Live Sport, and if you quote me anywhere, I'll deny you. I never had a driver's license. I didn't hold a driver's license. Come COVID, I let my driver go. And one day, because we weren't going anywhere during COVID, right? But then I was driving. I knew how to drive. I just had never gotten a license. So I can't remember where I was coming from. Just so I lived in VI and I went into Lekki and I was coming back. Of course, I was at fault. Anyway, I got arrested. So, where's Kingsley? So I called. I really didn't know what to do. There were this bunch of angry police women. I was going to work. I was going to Ikate. There's this bunch of really angry police women who are like, you today. So I'm standing there and I'm like, what am I going to do? So I phoned Kingsley. Kingsley is our admin and operations manager. And I say, oh, hi, Kingsley. Do you know anyone in the Nigerian police? And he's like, what's going on? And I said, I've been arrested. He said, I'll call you back. So he then calls our co-founder and chief creative director, Dari, whom I've known for years, even before I started working at Live. So Dari calls me and then says, what's going on? I'm like, I've been arrested. He said, I don't abuse them all. And don't go to the station. Of course, I abused them. And of course, I went to the station. And by the time, anyway, Dari came to meet me there, and, they're like, oh, she's so rude. And he's like, you know what? My driver's going to take you to the office. I'm going to stay here. If these women see your face, they won't let you go. Anyway, all that sorted. But by the time I got to work, everybody was like, oh my God, Tiwa, are you okay? Do you feel shaking up? Do you feel harassed? And I'm like, why? They're like, the police situation. I'm like, how did you guys know? So everybody carries everybody's burden. Don't drive without a license. But I'm just saying, there are times when someone has a breakdown, car issues on Third Mainland Bridge. You post it on the WhatsApp group, and someone will say, oh, I'm 5 minutes from there, I'm 10 minutes from there, or I know someone who's driving through there, just stay there, someone will come and get you, that sort of thing. But it's how in the crux of work, we are there to pick up the work. You can say that's about the organization. But even when it comes to the self, you know, as much as we are physically able to, we also try to support each other. I was going to talk about his team. So everyone needs them one way or the other, right? The one thing that I would say the most teams within Livespot does well is if someone who's assigned to a project, even if they're sick or something is going on with them and they can't be present, the other department with whom they are collaborating, half the time, you will not feel the difference. Because what will happen within the team, his creative director will simply look for some space within the team and say, Aaron is out of commission for 24 hours, someone else is going to pick it up. Do you understand? Omamo is going to look at his team and say, AY is out of commission for 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever. Who can do that? You on the other team is later you'll be finding out that I was talking to AY about this thing. And his manager is going to be like, okay, now talk to Alex. Is then that you will find out that, okay, do you understand? So just in terms of picking up and holding each other up, because you know that if roles were reversed, someone will pick up your stuff as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Please celebrate them. I just want, move a bit into recruitment. And I know I was supposed to come to you, but I want to drive my question through Efua to Tiwa. Efua, right? You worked with us. My first question to you was, what makes you stand out? You worked with us last year. That could be a leverage, right? But I want you to just talk about the interview process, because even when we needed you back, we had to interview you. We didn't just call you to say, because you work with us, hey, Kubaya, come join us. We did a proper interview process. What was your expectation and what was the reality in when I had reached out to you to say we are going to interview you, and you stylishly asked me to answer question, but I I shy away from your questions and made you face reality. What would you say about the interview process?
The interview process was honestly, sorry, it was great. It was a great process. It was virtual. We had a virtual interview. However, yeah, I just feel I was very, when you have like you've amped yourself up for something, and then it's not like it falls flat, but you've done too much to prep for this thing. It was super chilled. I didn't need to be as nervous and as I had all the corporate lingo and circle back and all of these things. And at the end of the day, because it was so chilled, I felt comfortable enough to talk and then over talk and then be long winded, which was accommodated. Now that I'm in the office, I reflect on that interview and it makes me cringe because I'm like, we are too busy for you to have spoken so long during your interview. It's true, like I cringe. And the fact that Kester is asking me this question now, yeah, it was great. It was great. Happy to be here.
And I mean, I have my reason, so I'm pushing it to you, Tiwa. And we know we have people sitting around and asking themselves, what does it take, to be a citizen, that's to be a part of life sports. What do you look at for in terms of, in the process of interview, that would make you say, this person ticked the box. You know what? Let's move ahead.
I'm going to, can you hear me? Okay. I'm going to start from a role that is not as experienced, right? I personally believe that, and that's not because I did it. Today I was having a conversation with a young friend, and she asked me, oh, did I work when I was a student? And I said, I didn't. I said, why didn't you? I said, I didn't have to. On my drive here, I then reflected. I should have. When I said I didn't have to, is because I didn't need the money. My parents paid for everything, so I didn't need a job. But what it should have been for me was an opportunity to take on all sorts of internships, paid or not, and learn. I say that the fact that you're fresh out of school doesn't mean you should be completely without knowledge. Thankfully, AI and the internet has democratized access to knowledge. Knowledge can show up as experience where you have been, but knowledge can show up as what I have read, what I have studied. And so you're looking for an opportunity to try your hands at it. What you can't be is just a graduate of something. It's never enough for me. It must be, what have you thought yourself? It can be experience that you have gained, but what have you tried your hands up on? Because for me, it says two things. Number one, that the individual is resourceful. Number one, that you are invested in your self-development. The biggest, or the people that I've appreciated the most in my career journey are people who, in and of themselves, are motivated to excel. What does that look like? Someone who says, I want to be the best creative designer in Livespot. You will find that that person seeks opportunities to show up like that, and in so doing is contributing to the organization. Seeks opportunity for personal development, some of which the organization supports to make happen. But if they're not invested in that, no matter how many trainings you send them to, is not going to fix it. The second biggest thing for me is the right attitude. No one knows it all. People who are willing to learn, and people who are passionate about learning. Because he gave an example. He said he knows about design. He's done design. When he joined Livespot, he was like, oh, this is a new level of design, and needed to catch up a little. That's life. There will be something that stretches you a little bit more, and so you'll be forced to bring out that person in you that is passionate about learning, passionate about growth. And yeah, I think it's in your passion as an individual that you tap into the passion of an organization and are able to contribute to what the organization is doing. Right?
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
weakest employees I find are people who are mediocres in themselves. It's like taking a what do you call it? A horse to the water. You can't force it to drink. Do you get what I mean? Yeah.
Thank you. Please celebrate Tiwa. Thank you. Thank you. My next question is to you, Aaron. And I think I can also throw this question across board. Tell me of one project you think has the project stretched you to the best of your ability, drains you, but after the project, when you look back at what the project was about and the victories, the wins, the fulfillment was above the pains that you went through.
I think that project will be Entertainment Week Africa. Yes. Now, I don't say I was stretched out or that. I mean, I was, though. This has been... Okay. This has been months in the making. Like, my first meeting, Livespot, was EWA, and I was like, it's still in November. Why are we having a meeting now? But, like, no, you have to, like, get this done. And there have been sleepless nights. I mean, there was sleepless night last night. But coming up on this stage, this podium to talk to you guys makes everything really worthwhile. I mean, I am tired, but I am happy. That's something. I'm having fun. I'm seeing my coworkers. I'm sitting with Tiwa here, and we're talking about working at Livespot, and that's really what makes everything happy. I love design. I'm obsessed with design. But Livespot makes everything balanced for me, and I'm just so happy to be here. So the project I would call on to is EWA, and seeing everybody wearing EWA shirts, volunteering to work at EWA, it makes me so happy because I'm like, yes, this is it. So yeah, that is for me.
Thank you. Thank you. Please celebrate everyone. Efua, I need you to also answer that question.
Definitely EWA. And EWA is a beautiful beast. It's massive. EWA for sure. I think it's just, you can't contain it, right? And it just goes on until it's done. It's non-stop. This is a break. Being here is a break. A lovely break. EWA.
Tiwa is over 4 years. You also want to mention EWA. Please tell us.
Yes, I will mention EWA, but not EWA 2025. A few people in this room that were here at the start of EWL, used to be EWL, or Mamo, Bolahon, Delao. Who else was here? Eh? Taiwo. Is Taiwo still here? There's a few people in this room who were here when we started the first EWL. That was a beast. This beast is now clean shaven. No? Yes. This beast is kind of is neat now. Yes, it's a cute beast. Yeah. So I think the projects that stretch us as an organization the most is our own projects. Because we are mostly a household of creatives, we continue building on it till the very last minute, right? Because at every meeting, it's like, there's a little more that can be done. There's a little more that can be done. It doesn't have as many boundaries as when we are doing work for other people, where the client's brief is specific, and once you've agreed, then you just move into execution. Developing properties such as EWA, Livespot X Festival, those are the ones that put the most pressure on the organization as a whole. The people, its resources, do you understand? It really does stretch us. What it then means is that when EWA is over, or Dirty December 1st, or whatever we're doing, when it's over and you're lying in your bed and you're like, oh, am I supposed to be sleeping? All right, it's done now, But you get used to the adrenaline rush and you start to expect it, right? The joy of it is that when we're done with this, we take some time off in January and just be bums doing nothing until we then start the new year again. Yeah.
Thank you. Please celebrate every one of them. Tiwa, as we wrap up, my next question would be, what's your advice for those that are aspiring to work in the creative space? I can't assume everyone here works in the creative space. One, work in the creative space, and those aspiring to work in an organization such as Livespot. What's your advice?
Number one, identify what you're passionate about. For all the stretching and pulling apart that you're going to get, you must be really passionate about it. For you to be able to immerse yourself fully into it, you have to be enjoying it. So I would say, don't be because they are meeting celebrities, blah, 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 blah. That can be a plus. But it's going to take you a minute to actually start to meet the celebrities. You meet them at point of execution. All the cooking that happens behind the scenes, you must be prepped for that. So find what you're passionate about. Learn about what you're passionate about. My personal story. When I joined the entertainment sector, 2011, I decided to move to Nigeria. And for the longest time, my father used to say, oh, when you get a job, because as far as he was concerned, working here is not a job. Do you understand? My pop is a surgeon, right? And I come from a family of people working in United Nations, World Health Organization, and that type of stuff. And so my father would say to me, when you get a job, and I would say, but I have a job. Then he switched. It's like, when you get a real job, then I have a real job. Do you understand? So you must be passionate about it to stay. because, you may not even have a lot of support and what have you. The second thing is knowledge. Learn about that thing, right? A lot of us in the creative and entertainment space didn't necessarily go to school to study those things. I was a medical student for the first year of undergrad, for instance. I thought I had to be a doctor. So it doesn't matter what you're studying or what you've studied. Learn about what you want to do. Secondly, don't be afraid to, as with most things in life, don't be afraid to speak up and ask questions and appear to not be. People don't ask questions because they think it makes them look weak. Don't be afraid to come across like that, because that's how there's a lot of learning from others around you than there is in learning from the pages of a book. Do you understand? And I think for me, those are the key things. Identify what your strengths are, or identify what you're passionate about, build up knowledge around it, do your research, learn from others, do internships, whatever, but be knowledgeable about it, I would say. And then don't be afraid to take a stab at it. Yeah. Your parents might say you don't have a real job, but they'll come around. I promise you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please celebrate Tiwa, please. Efua, about the same question, but directing it to a specific audience. And I know I could see a few volunteers in this house. What's your advice to those volunteers sitting here? I mean, you were once like them last year, but it's a different story now. So what advice do you have for them?
I think I'm just going to piggyback off what Tiwa said. You do have to be madly passionate about the work, because it's not one specific thing, and you have to have interest. I think a personality that's interested, curious, I think is the better word to use. You have to be curious about everything, because you will work with different departments, you'll work with different types of people on various sort of projects. So you do have to have curiosity. But I think that my advice is to apply yourself with the passion, with the curiosity. I don't know that I like the expression hard work, because I think it sort of sounds intimidating, which yes it is, but it may have like a negative connotation in people's minds. But yes, hard work, but you just have to get involved, want to know the A to the Z of the thing, even if you're not the one that is going to do LMNOPQR, but you know how to sort of piece it together that, okay, this is the alphabet. Sorry, I've just used an analogy of the alphabet, but you are able to make a trail, because of your interest. Okay, this is who did A, this is where Z falls in place, this is, how things happen. You have interest, you have curiosity, you have the interest to apply yourself. Yeah, just applying yourself.
Thank you. Please celebrate Efwa. Over to you, Aaron. My question is, I mean, there could be one or two or a bit number of designers in here who, there's one thing about how designers see themselves versus how when reality hits. And you had mentioned it, from the start to say, the way you see yourself was quite different from when you joined Livespot. What's your advice to, just upcoming designers?
Tiwa they mentioned being passionate, but I don't know if I'm going to say this, but I think you should take it up a notch and be obsessed with creating, and not just creating, learning. So I'm a creative designer, and I feel like creative design or graphic design isn't where you should just want to like be in. You have to learn other stuff, other aspects of design, maybe web, maybe production, and that's why I think you should be if you want to work at a place like Livespot. Working there means you have to work with a lot of people, other teams, and you also have to know what they know. For instance, the event guys, they know about production design, and it's just so funny watching them like analyze working drawings. I'm like, wow, that's mad impressive, and that's what life sports is. You have to like dabble into other departments. So I would always say this: be obsessed with learning and also creating, because that's what you have to do. You have to envision the person you want to be and be better than that person. So yes, that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much. Please celebrate Aaron. Just before we go, our advice to you is be deliberate, right? Be committed to whatever decision you choose to make, because what you want is the best version of yourself. So with this, we'd like to say thank you, every one of you, for coming out.